unforgettable images of Fastnet, the planet's most prestigious sailing race. But from that very captivating competition, a tragedy occurred, claiming the lives of 15 sailors in an extremely brutal state. So why did seasoned racers risk their lives just to participate in a race? Why did an exciting race turn into such a battlefield of tragedy? Join Con Ha as we unveil the Fastnet disaster of 1979. 303 racing boats were unexpectedly swallowed by a storm in today's broadcast. But before getting into the main content, don't forget to support a true story by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. To update the most thrilling and captivating stories, let's explore today. Fastnet is a sailing race covering the 974 kilometers route, starting from Cowes, Isle of Wight. A beautiful island considered the cradle of British sailing, passing through the challenging English Channel, then rounding the treacherous Fastnet Rock with its solitary lighthouse on top. Before returning to the finish line in Plymouth, the race organized by the Royal Ocean Racing Club attracts renowned racers from around the world. This is considered the ultimate challenge, the dream of every sailor wanting to prove their mettle and home skills. In the summer of 1979, Fastnet attracted a record number of participants, over 300 sailboats and 2,500 sailors. The race was expected to last about 6. However, that season, the thirst for victory and the desire to break records overshadowed all other considerations. Speed was the top priority. Therefore, many sailboats were designed for speed with lightweight, wide and shallow hulls, overlooking other necessary safety standards. At that time, weather forecasting was still very rudimentary. Meteorologists mainly relied on hand-drawn charts and could only forecast within 24 hours. This method, while effective for ordinary weather changes, was useless in predicting rapidly changing extreme weather phenomena, like storms. Moreover, weather forecasting at sea was even more difficult and less reliable than on land. Yet, most sailors participating in Fastnet had absolute faith in the weather forecasts from the BBC. The 6 p.m. bulletin, broadcast before the races, start at 8:01 p.m., indicated very favorable weather. It was like a pleasant holiday. Best forecast, but they didn't. Off the Atlantic coast, a weather bomb was silently forming and poised to swallow their fragile ships. The race began very smoothly. Over 300 sailboats filled with wind glided swiftly on the calm sea. Light winds, clear skies, and the air filled with excitement and thrill. The boats quickly passed through the Solent, heading towards Land's End. As they rounded this headland, the fog began to lift, and the first challenges of the race appeared. By the second day, August 13, 1979, the depression began to form, and the wind grew stronger. And then as darkness fell, a tropical storm struck like a giant monster awakening from a long sleep. It roared, raged, sweeping away everything in its path. Most participating sailors followed the weather forecast from BBC Radio 4, but the storm warnings came too late. By the time the storm had formed and was moving rapidly, warnings were issued continuously. But the time was too short. The sailors couldn't react in time. They had no chance to find shelter, nor were they adequately prepared to cope with the storm's destructive force. And that unexpected storm raged for 26 consecutive hours. The wind grew stronger, the sea became turbulent, and the waves grew higher and higher. They were like walls of water, 15 to 18 meters high, crashing down on the fragile sailboats. Unable to withstand the force, numerous sailboats capsized, masts shattered instantly. Some sailors were thrown into the sea, waiting amidst the ocean's fury. The thrilling race suddenly turned into the tragic battlefield. The howling wind, crashing thunder, breaking wood, and desperate cries for help echoed in the pitch-black night, creating a horrifying scene. But heaven had not yet stopped. By the early morning of August 14th, the storm reached its peak. The wind screamed with insane force, and the open sea turned into a boiling expanse of water. Flares for help were continuously shot into the sky like fragile threads of hope against the desperate darkness. Just imagine, you are in the midst of on a vast ocean in a small and fragile sailboat. Around you are waves as high as 15 to 18 meters, raging like wild beasts waiting to swallow you whole. The wind howls, and the rain lashes your face like blitz. On the sky, limited visibility makes it impossible to find direction or identify surrounding dangers. And that is exactly what the sailors participating in the 1979 Fastnet Race had to face. A true nightmare. In a life and death struggle with the erratic nature, the sailors were trying to keep the boat from capsizing. They clung tightly to safety lines, swinging on the slippery deck, yet they were still knocked down and thrown into the sea by the giant waves. Many lucky ones managed to hold on to the boat but had to endure these terrifying moments. Masts broke, cabins were flooded with seawater, stoves and food were tossed about, turning them into deadly debris. Meanwhile, the wind continuously battered the fragile sailboats, tearing the sails, sapping ropes, and damaging the hulls. Amid the furious sea, humans became small and helpless too. The extreme. Time seemed to slow down. Every passing moment was a nightmare for the crew. Many, with no strength left to resist, were forced to abandon ship, clinging to life buoys, helplessly awaiting rescue in despair. At this time, the storm continued to ravage the southern sea area of the island, causing severe damage to hundreds of sailboats. Amid the ocean's turmoil and howling winds, the exhausted sailors, struggling against the weather, tried to send out faint distress signals. GPS positioning and communication technology at the time was still limited, making it extremely difficult to locate and reach the distressed vessels. But fortunately, a rescue operation was launched on an unprecedented scale. Across the sea from the English Channel to the south of the island, thousands of people participated in this operation, including professional rescue forces from the Royal Navy, the Royal Air Force, along with civilian sailors and fishermen. They braved the night, disregarding danger to search for the victims of the Fastnet storm and bring the survivors back to shore. This rescue operation is recorded as the largest peacetime rescue in British history, with the participation of over 4,000 people. As a result, more than 140 sailors were saved. But the losses remain. 15 sailors never returned. Among them, 6 were swept away from the boat and 9 others died via accidents involving life buoys. 4 days after their departure, out of the 303 sailboats that participated, only 85 managed to safely reach the finish line. TNASIAS, the boat of American media mogul Ted Turner, was the winning boat based on the scoring system. But SV Condor from the Moda shore was the first to finish. It also broke the race record with a time of 11 hours, 37 minutes, and 23 seconds, 8 hours faster than the previous record. The 1979 Fastnet tragedy raised many questions about safety in sailing sports. After the race, a large-scale investigation was conducted. The results showed that, besides unpredictable weather factors, human errors also contributed significantly to the tragedy. Many boats did not meet safety standards, and some sailors lacked experience in dealing with bad weather. The weather forecasting system at the time was also limited, unable to provide timely information about the forming storm, which worsened the tragedy. Therefore, the authorities made many recommendations to enhance safety for future sailing races. All participating boats must undergo strict safety and durability checks, be fully equipped with rescue equipment, especially life buoys. The investigation also revealed many flaws in the design of some types of sailboats. Poor drainage systems and improperly arranged storage compartments made it easy for seawater to flood inside, causing instability. To address these shortcomings, after the Fastnet tragedy, many changes were applied in sailboat design, aimed at improving water resistance and ensuring sailor safety. Additionally, the Fastnet race organizers issued many new regulations to enhance safety levels for future races. The number of participating boats was limited to 300 to facilitate management and rescue in case of incident. All participating boats are required to be equipped with VHF radios for communication in emergencies. The standards for evaluating sailors' competence were also raised to ensure they have sufficient experience and skills to handle dangerous situations at sea. Thus, the 1979 Fastnet tragedy, though past, left many valuable lessons. It marked a sad turning point in the history of the sailing sport, and served as a wake-up call for all those obsessed with achievements while neglecting their own safety. Nature always hides unexpected dangers, and human negligence can cost innocent lives. And with that, today's story comes to an end. Thank you for listening. And before you leave, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to follow Con Ha in the next videos about shocking events around the world. For now, Con Ha bids you farewell and hopes to see you in the next videos.
If the veil stirred, subscribe and meet the next encounter.